So this is the Sony tipo dual SIM card phone. It's basically the first dual SIM phone from Sony or Sony Ericsson. How does this dual SIM thing work? Basically, the phone has, as you can see here indicated on the top bar, two receiver or two GSM modules. Each of them can have a phone message inbound, and as well as a data connection. You can receive calls and messages simultaneously on both SIM cards. Selecting the SIM card which you want to use for outgoing activities, such as making a call, sending text messages, or have a data connection, is something that you can set to some extent manually, to some extent automatically. Let's have a look at that now. So, as you can see right now, my SIM card 1 is basically active, indicated by the yellow-orange sign. There is a dedicated hardware button on the side of the phone, just below the volume rocker. So if I push that button, you can see the default SIM is now SIM number 2, indicated by a different color on the top bar here. So that would mean if I would make a call now, I would do that using SIM card 2. If I push the button again, I go back to the SIM 1. So I would do outgoing calls and messages and data connections on that call. Now let's have a closer look at how this works with for example, data connections. I don't want to do a new message. I want to go to the settings basically. And there is a dual SIM card menu entry. So what you can do here is you can basically enable and disable the different SIM cards. You can give the SIM cards a name to make it easier to distinguish, for example, by giving them operator names or whatever you want to do here. There's a setting where you can say, okay, which SIM card should I use by default for data traffic? So one of the use cases for having dual SIM card phones is to have one SIM card that has a data plan, let's say a flat rate or a couple of megabytes you can use, but for example doesn't have a voice capability, or the voice is very expensive. So here you can basically say, okay, any data connection that I do that goes out or comes in, I want to have that on SIM card 2. In that case, you can switch it to the other SIM card. As you could see before, there is this manual button on the side for switching SIM cards. There is also something called automatic switch. You can do that for call and messaging, and it's basically time-based. So you can say during weekdays from what time or in what time period SIM 1 should be the standard SIM card, and the same you can do the same for the weekends as well. I don't want to turn that on now. The same basically also applies for data traffic. So you can say, or you can instruct the phone to use SIM 1 during weekdays between, let's say, 10 a.m. and 10 p.m. or something like this, and to use SIM 2 for the other time. The same for the weekends. That's about that. Other than that, the Tipo Duo is basically an Android phone, as you probably know it from other Sony phones or other Android manufacturers. Currently installed on this phone here, and the screen is a little bit tricky, I have to say, to use. As you can see here, it's on Android 4.04, so basically the latest build that Sony provides to its Xperia series. Okay, let's have a look how this dual SIM card phone works during normal mode. Basically, as I mentioned before, there is always one SIM card active for all outgoing activities, but both SIM cards are online to receive calls and text messages. I'm going to call the phone now on the first number. And as you can see, it indicates on which SIM card the call is coming in. I'm going to do the same now for the second SIM card. And as you can see here, the other SIM card is indicated to receive a call. So this is the voice calls and text messages where we have both SIM cards online. I have set up the data connection to be used by SIM card number 2. So if I'm, let's say, Googling for something, let's use this here. Basically what happens is, as you can see, the indicator here, the data connection of SIM card number 2 is used. There's the activity symbol there, and it provides or uses that line for data connections.